Hey guys, hope everyone's day is going well. Today we are back with another video and I'm joined by none other than Philip Pacific. Say what's up, Philip.
What's up, guys?
Alrighty, so we got a new yo-yo today to review. This right here is the Dragon Quest from Enso Yo-Yos. I got Philip here to help me get a second opinion, take a look at the yo-yo, analyze it. I mean, he's obviously a very well-renowned yo-yo player, so I wanted his expertise to just take a look at this yo-yo and tell me if it's good or not. Okay, so first and foremost, gotta thank Enso Yo-Yos for sending this yo-yo to us. Really appreciate it. They reached out a little while back and let me know that they had some new releases on the horizon. This one caught my attention, so super appreciative to them. All the links will be down in the description below if you want to check out their stuff. So let's get on with the rest of the video. Okay, so in the next clip, I'll throw the specs of this yo-yo on the screen as per usual, and then Philip is going to take us through the yo-yo, just analyzing it and let us know what we're working with.
To start things off, let's take a look at this yo-yo. So this is definitely a cross kind of between an H shape and a V shape, and it definitely weighs a bit on the heavier side at almost 70 grams. Now, I think the most striking thing about this yo-yo is the different use of materials throughout it. This actually is a tri-material yo-yo with a Delrin body, aluminum inner ring, and stainless steel outer ring. The stainless steel is more to get rim weight towards the outer parts of the yo-yo, which will allow it to spin longer. And this yo-yo seems to have potentially a really good spin time. And then, as you can see, obviously in the middle of the yo-yo, there's a pretty significant finger spin dimple, which we'll cover later in the video.
So overall, this is a pretty interesting yo-yo. It's got a bunch of different materials on it. It's comfortable in the hand. It's got a finger spin dimple in the very middle. So without any further ado, let's talk about how this thing plays on the string. I'm just gonna run through really quickly my impressions of the yo-yo, what I like, what I don't like, what I think they could improve. I'll hand it on over to Philip and he can give us his impression, because at the end of the day, all this is subjective. So in my experience personally, for starters, the yo-yo is definitely super comfortable to hold in the hand. It's got a lot of width to it, so when it comes back to your hand from a bind or something like that, it feels pretty good. You will definitely notice that this yo is heavy. When it hits the end of the string, you can tell that there's a ton of weight on this thing, and that makes sense because of the specs. But overall, I had a pretty good experience playing with it. It's just definitely a more slow yo-yo. So if we're talking in terms of speed of tricks, agility, changing direction with the yo-yo, you'll definitely notice that this is a little bit more of a chunky, heavy feeling yo-yo. And if that's your kind of thing, you prefer slower play, maybe your tricks are a little bit more precise, this could be a good yo-yo for you. But if you're trying to go fast, I definitely wouldn't recommend it. So you'll definitely notice the weight with this one. I'd say overall, since it has such a good width, hitting tricks is pretty easy for the most part. You know, it's got a lot of room to catch the yo-yo on the string, so you'll definitely notice that when you're hitting your different whips, lacerations, some hop tricks, arm tricks, all that good stuff. I'd say since this yo-yo is pretty big, tech tricks might be a little bit tough. When I was testing this thing out and demoing it, I definitely noticed a few times I landed on double strings. So just know that if you're getting in the nitty gritty of tech tricks, it can be a little bit tough to actually land it on the right string. And then I will say for grinds, this yo-yo is pretty solid. It's got a really soft touch finish all around it due to that Delrin material. So that feels super nice. And it's definitely good for finger spins. You could probably predict that by looking at the cup and feeling it. It feels really nice. You can do cool finger spin tricks, get a little bit more fancy with it. I definitely am not the best at those, but for the most part, I had a really good experience with grinds. All right, so now I'll hand it on over to Philip and let's hear what he has to say about it.
When I first tried this yo-yo, it's definitely a really interesting throw, super unique. It's definitely on the heavier side, as Jonathan mentioned earlier, but it's definitely a super fun yo-yo, more of a casual throw, not really something you'd use in a competitive atmosphere, but it's definitely fun just for casual tricks, casual throwing. It's definitely really good for grinds and really good for slacks and whips. Like he said, with tech, it's gonna be a little bit harder just with all those different strings and the sheer size of this yo-yo. It's gonna be really difficult to not hit on strings that you're not intending to. But overall, it's definitely gonna be great for slacks, any whip catches, any lacerations, things of that nature. This yo-yo isn't really ideal for horizontal, just being a majority plastic throw, but it's definitely still able to spin for a pretty long time, which is super beneficial. This yo-yo is definitely a slower playing yo-yo. Like I said, kind of goes in with horizontal. You're not gonna really be able to do faster paced tricks with it. You're not really gonna be able to hit your speed combos, things of that nature, but it's definitely great for, you know, slower yo-yoing, creative yo-yoing, just really anything that, you know, is mainly revolving around slacks and whip tricks.
Then one quick thing before I leave you guys here, I felt like the yo-yo that I received, and generally my experience with this, binds were a little bit slippery, which is a little bit annoying to have, and Philip had a similar reaction as well when he played with it. We've got some pretty standard OT string, I think it's fat OT string, and for whatever reason, binds would just slip here and there, which made regens a little scary. This is definitely a heavy and long spinning yo-yo, so if you don't really know when it's gonna come back to you, it can be a little bit frightening. But regardless, maybe I just say replace the response pads after you get this thing with like your go-to and you should be fine. All right, but that's about it for our review. Really appreciate again Enso Yo-Yos for sending this throw on through. I think it's a very unique, very interesting yo-yo. And so I appreciate also Philip being here, hanging out with me and doing this review. Thank you, Philip.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Awesome, I appreciate it. Well, that's about it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. Also, if you're new here, haven't seen my videos before, hit that subscribe button. You'll see whenever I post a new video. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Peace.